It is going to be our last set of matches right now for the Hippo Cup 9. It is 18 UTC, last match. We're on C3 for the losers bracket against BeachSideBunny and Sun. My name is Exia, he's iFlame. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. As you mentioned, last couple matches for the day, we do have another match going on at the moment. It's going to be Quit School versus Nation. That's going to be on the A stream, to make sure to check that one out as well. Looks like we are into pick bans already, but let's talk about these two teams quickly, because it's a little bit surprising to see them in the losers brackets. If I say, both teams swept their groups 3-0, looked incredibly strong, but both teams fumbling in round of 16. Of course, Sun, they lost in the tiebreaker to Irishmen, and BeachSideBunny, after a strong showing in the group, they really struggled in the round of 16, dropping 6-1 against Z10AD rankers. And I mean, honestly, when you look at their team scores from the round of 16, pretty rough across the board. So maybe just an off week for BeachSideBunny, but we're going to need to see a little bit more from them this week, because, you know, despite on paper they've got a lot of strong players, right? Boshyman, Razorfruit, Jackson, Ronipan even was the 10th best player in groups. But they need to put up the scores to match, as it looks like Sun are going to be opting for that first pick. Of course, Sun, some very strong players as well. You've got players like Aleph, Alfeu, for Dora Goose. If you want rating, you've got Suri and Toybot. And so both strong rosters on paper, but unfortunately, it's going to be the end of the road for one of them today.
And especially with Score V1, we're going to see some very, very volatile scores. And especially the length of this pool, especially in the Nomad pool, a lot of these maps a lot longer than our group stage, a lot longer than a round of 16. So you're going to see a lot of combos be in the more of the 4-digit 1.5k combo, maybe even 2k on some of these maps. And especially in the DT pool, where the maps are, I think the lengths are kind of just averaging out to like 2 minutes. You're just going to have some pretty average scores, but it is going to be a Hard Rock 4 ban here, position map out of the pool. Not going to deal with any of that kind of gimmick in this kind of match here. So let's see if Sun does opt out for another gimmick ban here. You could look at the Nomad maps being like Nomad 8 having the 9.5 circle size gimmick for the precision, but that's pretty much it for all those high circle size maps.
Yeah, I do personally think it has to be the Nomad 8 for Sun. I really don't think you can play CS9 into Boshyman. Boshyman is the tiny circle player, and now that we're getting to quarterfinals, the maps are a lot harder. They're really starting to scale, and so there's a much higher chance for solo carry potential compared to what we've seen in the last 2 rounds. And if you leave a Nomad 8 open, I have no doubt that BeachSideBunny will pick it immediately, and Boshyman will just pop off on that. So, Sun, the position bans make a lot of sense. We're still waiting for the first ban from BeachSideBunny. They have a lot of options to choose from. Feels like Sun have really excelled on some of the free mods, some occasionally the hard rocks as well. And they do seem to like the DTs on top of that, so I wouldn't be surprised to see something like one of these more gimmicky DT maps banned out. And it is going to be the DT4, Fallen, which I believe is a bit more of a tech-focused DT pick, you could say.
Yeah, I think tech is a little bit of an aspect that they are going to be banning. I just hope there isn't any more Hard Rock bans, because this Hard Rock pool is low-key kind of banger. Just hopefully that we can see Hard Rock 1 bang out, and a little bit of Nomad 5 as well. But Nomad 7 is going to be the ban. That map, I believe, is just going to be the, let me see what it is. It's going to be that no sliders, all circles map with lots of rhythm changes from just 1/4 to 1/6, quite a bit. I understand why they're banning this, but going into Boshyman on that Circles 9.5 map is going to be a little tricky. But I think they're compensating for the length of that map. It is 40 seconds. You do not have a lot of notes to press. You do not have a lot of time to gather combos. So I think leaving Nomad 8 out, maybe just preying on downfalls from the other teams, hoping that BeachSideBunny just has a lot less score or a lot less combo. But none to say the least, at least we're not going to have another Hard Rock ban, I hope.
That is true. I think at this point, likely not. I Wouldn't be surprised if we just get another DT ban from BeachSideBunny. They could ban out a more tech-focused pick, but I really don't feel like they need to. And I mean, to your point, Exia, you're right. You know, it's a very short map, so there's a lot less time to really build up those big combos and have solo carry potential. And so BeachSideBunny can't just rely on Boschman to put up a good score on that. They really need to have the team-wide performance as we see the bans. Hard Rock 4, DT4, Nomad 7, and Fremont 3, the final ban coming through for Sun. And it is Sun who are going to have that first pick, so we'll see if they do want to opt into one of those DT picks. You know, they have a lot of kind of strong gimmick players in their own right. You know, a lot of these players are very good at raiding. You look at Sari and Toybot. Even I think Altheu is quite the strong raiding player, so I could see them opting for things like the Nomad 5, potentially the Fremont 1, which I really hope we see at some point in this match.
Yeah, I really do hope we see that Fremont 1. If you've seen in the last match, I've seen how difficult this map can be, but DT1, I believe this is going to be our most slotted map in the pool. DT1 is just going to be your aim. On Capsule feature Ill, Plastic Girl on the Shibuya difficulty. It is a 7.4 star rating map, not the highest in the map pool, but it is really high in BPM at 270. And a little bit of 10.3 AR for that DT1. So I think it's going to be a solid pick, considering that I believe BeachSideBunny does lack some mechanics, considering that they had a Fremont 3 ban and a DT4 ban with those high BPM picks and speed mechanics. So DT1 being a first pick is not too shabby.
Yeah, currently got Insert and Tosin Jordan in the lobby for Sun. Hyper Pigeon, I'd imagine, is just lobby sitting for BeachSideBunny, keeping an eye on the timer as the rest of the team takes a quick look at the map. And it seems like both teams are taking their time getting into the lobby, so we might be in for a long one, Exia.
I mean, especially in a Hippo Cup 9, the stakes are pretty high in the semifinals, or excuse me, the quarterfinals. We're not there yet. Semifinals is where the pool is going to extend quite a bit. The only change that we had from round of 16 to quarterfinals is that we just added a no mod, but let's just hope that all the players will get in by the timer, no stalling whatsoever. If you take a look at the rest of the map pool, I mean, I think the Nomad pool is well constructed. Hopefully we get to see some Nomad 6. That Nomad 8, now that it's being left out, I hope we see, because we are going to have some really flippy leads and a lot of turbulence in that kind of map because of how many misses and how many breaks we're going to see. But now I believe everybody's in the lobby. We're just going to have to get our slots and colors.
Yes, we are. And, you know, they do have to be careful as well if they are waiting until the last second to get into the lobby, that they don't miss the timer, because if they do miss the start timer, the map will just start without 4 full players, but seems like they all will make it just in time. It seems like we're going to get a little bit of extra allowance at first, but I imagine if we continuously see people going over the timer, then ref is going to have to start enforcing that a lot more strictly, so we'll keep an eye on that. But it looks like they do finally have their roster sorted out. Razorfruit and Roni Pan, I think the 2 players to watch for BeachSideBunny. Interestingly, it looks like Hyper Pigeon will be staying in for this one, along with Voine, player who I'm not so familiar with. And Sun, kind of the expected roster on their end. So we'll see what they can do here with their first pick. Obviously, this is not a map where the hiddens are going to be super relevant.
Yeah, you just need 2 players on the hidden, but I believe some players do prefer that hidden on the 10.3 AR. Makes things a little bit easier. I believe we had an abort. That's why we do not see the players not playing the map, so I think we're just getting back right into it. Errors, technical issues, soon to be recovered, soon to be resolved, but it is time, finally, for our first map that should have been started a little bit ago, but, you know, we do a little stalling, we do a little of issues, but it's fine.
Yep. Of course, want to get off to a strong start here. It's first to 7, so there is lots of time for comebacks, lots of time for recoveries, even if you give up an early break point. really more about the mental aspect of giving up a break point on your own first pick. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as we get into Plastic Girl. Start of this map, not too difficult, and I would say this is one of the easier maps relative to the rest of the pool, so we could certainly see some higher combos, but Voline, along with Runnypan, are going to be the first 2 players to miss, and that's going to give Sun a pretty good lead to start things off, quickly approaching 1 million points. There goes Hyper Pitch, and that's the 3rd combo drop for BeachSideBunny, and that's make that 4. This is not that long of a map. So Sun have a massive advantage now. They do trade 1 FC back, make that 2, but with Althea and Aleph still holding strong, they are going to skyrocket into the lead.
This is a very, very intermediate map in terms of legs, just 3 minutes, and we're already down a minute, 2/3 left to go, and it's just loads of breaks on the side of BeachSideBunny. I think the 270 BPM is the reason why they're unable to hold combo. The accuracies are quite low for a couple of these players, but especially for Sun, look at their side, 96, 98, 97 all across the board. Their accuracies are fine. They are absolutely delightful to have such combo like this and accuracy like this. And already up 8 million. If you are BeachSideBunny, you need breaks now. You need Sun to just tumble and fall, but you are breaking all over the place if you are BeachSideBunny, and it's just not looking like bright days for you.
Yeah, I mean, still 2 FCs for Sun, Toss and Jordan, and Fedora Goose on really good recoveries. And the combo on BeachSideBunny is just pretty non-existent. They continue to find misses. And Sun now have 3 times the score of BeachSideBunny, so I think safe to say this map is pretty over. Now we're just kind of waiting for the map to conclude, as BeachSideBunny are nowhere to be seen on this one, and it's going to be a very strong first pick for Sun.
They're just kind of chilling. Such calm scores. I mean, you only have the 2 breaks on the side of Sun, but look what you have. 2 FCs, 2 reverse chokes. Possibly going to ruin the leaderboards for this one. But we still have the no-fail. And just continuous breaks. Yeah, the map is done and over. That is a 36 million team score lead. Probably the most massive one we've seen so far this tournament. And will continue to rise because of these FCs and continuous breaks from BeachSideBunny. But especially with this DT1 showing weaknesses in the mechanics, you're looking at maps like DT2, DT3. Those are really, really speedy maps in the pool, and especially possibly some very flowy maps as well, considering that this map, lots of snaps, and contributing to the kind of skill sets that this DT1 has. You're looking at so many different places that you can attack BeachSideBunny on with a lot of these maps, and especially a pool this size, they have so many weaknesses available to be picked at.
Yeah, it definitely feels slightly concerning for BeachSideBunny. You know, it's the opponent's first pick, so you don't expect to win it. But you would like to see it be a little bit closer than 54 million points, especially considering this is far from the hardest map in the pool. The maps only get more difficult, and although BeachSideBunny are going to have their picks, like you said, there are a lot of maps that are not so different from this one in terms of skill sets. You know, you have more AR 10.3, you have more aim-focused picks, and so Sun feels like they're going to have a lot of options to choose from going forward in terms of picks. We'll see now if they do want to opt for that no mod 8. I feel like it is their best pick currently available, but it really depends whether only Bocce can play it or if the rest of the team can play it as well. It seems like they're going to opt for a no mod 5 instead.
Going straight into the AR8 love map. Ooh, excuse me, but this is a incredibly fun map, I believe. Longest map in the pool, excluding the tiebreaker. AR8, circle size 5. The BPM on the sheet says 370 BPM, so that's a little bit of a lie. This map does kind of play like 130 or 140 realistically, but you're going to see a lot of overlaps. You're going to see a lot of rhythm change. This little bit of reading does get in the way of some of these bursts because of how they are stacked in a way. Not a lot of perfect stacks in this map. I don't believe there are any perfect steps in this map, but overall it is a gimmicks player's paradise in this AR8 map.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing... Now, this is not a free map for BeachSideBunny by any means. Sun do still have some very strong low AR rating players. A Toybot in for Sun. Going to want to keep an eye on them. Very likely to be taking the hidden this time around. probably along with Alfie if I had to guess. And this is one of those maps where the hidden is very relevant. The hidden actually does add a fair bit of difficulty to this map, so we'll have to keep an eye on who is taking those mods. And once again, players for BeachSideBunny hopping out of the lobby, so I think we're going to have to make sure the ref is enforcing those timers strictly, and so BeachSideBunny are going to be careful. And here is Boshi, unsurprisingly, one of the world's best gimmick players, whether it comes to LBR reading or precision. Razorfruit going to be the last member.
I believe these are the rosters, especially for this map. They changed to a best of 13, so this map could go the distance or could be done in an instant. Especially in this map, I did forget to mention, you have those incredibly fast sliders and incredibly difficult 1-2s in this map that are not sight readable, I'd say. So you do need to have a little bit of knowledge of this map, but it is loved. I believe all these players did enjoy practicing this pool, trying to get yourself up into the leaderboard. But this is required to have 2 players on the hidden, so I'd say that if you're considering watching this map, please pay attention to the hidden players, because that's going to be a treat to watch.
Yep. I will say the ref should indeed rush it once the timer is finished. If you're not ready before the timer, it is on you. So we'll keep an eye on that. But it looks like we've got our hiddens on Toybot, Aleph, Boshiman, and Ronipan. Unsurprisingly here. And this is a pretty long map. There's not a ton of combo density, so it is going to take a while to build up these combos, but you can certainly see those higher combos. And because this map is so insanely difficult compared to a lot of the other maps in this pool, there's a ton of potential for solo carries or 1 or 2 players to really make the difference if they can pop off and approach that, 1k, even higher potentially combo mark. We do see some early misses, again, because of the map length. Those aren't going to be super relevant, but I want to keep an eye on the accuracies here. It is score v1, so in terms of the actual score itself, the accuracies are going to be pretty irrelevant, but they are a pretty good indicator as to how comfortable the players are on the map. And right now, it is insanely high accuracies for Sun, with the exception of Fedora Goose, Ronipan, and Voin. Going to be finding early misses and dropping a ton of accuracy there. There goes Toybot as well now, and we're far enough into the map where these misses are going to start to add up, because you're down to about 400 combo, and that's where it starts to really make a difference. There goes Aleph as well, so now we've got a bit of a 2v2 going on. Sun currently with a better support, but BeachSideBunny keeping themselves well within striking distance.
This map is incredibly hard to act if you were sight reading. I believe Boshiman is sight reading just a bit, but the accuracy does come from mistapping the tapping parts. There was a little bit of a death stream there. And some of the rhythms of these streams do start on a very odd note, so I believe that's why some of these accuracies and some of these combos are dropping, but not a lot of drops yet. That's a Toybot and an Alf break, so the supporting combos for Sun are down, but that's the FC down for Boshi, as well as Bowie and Razorfruit is just there to pick up the pieces against the 2 FCs on Fedora Goose and Alfiu. And so Sun in the driver's seat right now, and Razorfruit just needs to hold, but that is a Fedora Goose break, so an FC is down, and at the top 2 row, left and right, that is going to be the combos, but it is another FC drop for Alfiu, as Razorfruit, the only one standing at the break, continues to hold, and is the opportunity to strike back and bring this back.
Yeah, that is absolutely massive for BeachSideBunny. The 700-800 combo mark is where the combo scaling really starts to kick in, especially when you've got nobody contesting you on the other side. So this score lead is going to flip back over so quickly, and as long as Razorfruit can hold, this is going to continue to grow very quickly in favor of BeachSideBunny. Now, Razorfruit does not have any support, so they are potentially allowing Sun to come back into this one. If Razorfruit misses, and there's the miss from Razorfruit, but Toybot, Fedora Goose dropping as well. And they've built up only a 300,000 point lead. It's not nearly enough to guarantee a safe win here, and so this is still anyone's game. It's currently Boshi matching Aleph, the 2 highest combos left in the lobby, and it's really going to come down to these supporting combos.
That's 2 breaks on BeachSideBunny, Ronipan, and Razorfruit, so the combos will be siding to Sun's advantage. And right now into a very chill part, but you still have lots of sight read checks in this pool. But now back into a very familiar place that we've seen in the beginning. These patterns very familiar, but in different places. No one's dropping any combos so far, but the accuracies, lots of drops there. But into the last fourth of the map, this is where most of the difficulty kind of arises. I believe this is where the jumps are going to start happening. A lot of the reading becomes a little bit more intense because of more density notes, and it is happening right now. You can already see all these players just controlling and continuing the hold, but the star pattern finds combos of 4 players, excuse me, 5. It's 2 and 3 on BeachSideBunny, but 2 on Sun. And it is just 2 huge combos on the side of Sun. Bashi, man, needs to hold. You need to pray for a break on Alphew or Alf to try and make a comeback and deny the break point. But the way this map is going, they are very comfortable in their seats, and they're continuing the hold.
Yeah, and realistically at this point, you're going to need misses on both Althea and Aleph. The supporting combos on BeachSideBunny continue to miss, and up by 5 million points, I just don't know if BeachSideBunny really have the time for a comeback, especially because Althea and Aleph haven't found those misses. There they go now, but Bachiman trades it back, and that is going to seal it. Sun will be securing a break point here and going up 2-0. Very strong start for them.
Couldn't choose the patterns hard enough, couldn't aim the jumps far enough. But it is going to be that break point very early on. Extremely early on, as that is the second map picked. First map pick from BeachSideBunny, and that is a confidence booster for Sun, as you're already up 2-0 in the best of 13 series with so many weaknesses that BeachSideBunny has to pick up upon.
Yeah, I think at the very least, because it is a best of 13, BeachSideBunny are going to have plenty of time to find their breakpoint. Again, giving up 1 breakpoint in a match this long is really not going to be the end of the world. But it's about the trend, it's about the mental state. You've lost the first 2, and so 1 breakpoint, okay. If you give up a second breakpoint, especially assuming Sun wins their next pick, that's where you start to get into a lot of trouble. And if Sun can get the momentum rolling, things can really spiral very quickly as we wait for the next pick from Sun.
I mean, before we saw the DT1 come to a close, we did talk about how the mechanics maps, considering that DT2, DT3, very, very open for those players on Sun to be able to kind of just work around that DT1 mishap that BeachSideBunny had. You could go into something like the DT3. It's very streamy, very tappy heavy, as well as that DT2. I believe those are the only other kind of like mechanics heavy maps in this pool. I think you can make an exception for maybe Fremont 2, but that is a very snappy mechanics aim map. So loads of choices. You can go into something fun, I believe. Hard Rock, very open, yet to be picked. Still got tons of maps left, I guess, for every single player on this roster for both sides. But let's just see where they go.
Yep. I'd love to see Fremont 1, just because it's a fun map. They're certainly taking their time with this pick. I mean, it makes sense. You really want to hold on to this momentum, and so you are going to want to pick carefully. But we'll see what they opt into here. It's going to be DT6. This is something that they've been very good on. A lot of these more gimmicky DTs have gone very well for Sun. I believe, was it the round of 16 DT6? No. So BeachSideBunny, actually the last week's DT6 was only played by 2 teams. Nobody really wanted to play that map. I think it was banned out very frequently. But if you look back to the group stage DT6, which I think is fairly different, they put up 3rd best score tournament-wide, so looked incredibly strong. And this is just a team that generally excels on some of these more gimmicky DT-focused picks. And BeachSideBunny have not really shown any desire to play these more gimmicky DT maps, and so I don't know. I mean, they should be able to put up together a roster for the pick, but it certainly favors Sun. And BeachSideBunny, of course, is going to be stalling out the timer, as is becoming the trend.
This map is basically just like 2 patterns. You have that one extremely like 2 10-star patterns to be exact, like just one in the middle and one at the very end. It's basically who can hold those patterns the most. If 8 players can hold it, or can 1 player hold it, it basically is the question for this DT6, the very RNG gimmick map here.
Yep, certainly is. It's going to be an incredibly short one as well, so all of these early combo breaks are going to matter as we wait for 2 more players from the BeachSideBunny roster. And we should be starting as soon as the timers run out. Now, Zanzibar going to be making their first appearance for the match.
Oh. Anyways, ready up. It's time.
It is time.
We got 2 maps in, I believe, 10 minutes. I'm not sure, 50 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit much.
It's all good. They want to win. We want to see some good scores. We want to see some good plays. Get everyone
Very
practice
true,
up.
but also, if you've not practiced the maps before now, the extra, minute and a half of practice between maps is not going to save you, very likely. But regardless, we're into this DT6. Alpha U and Fedora Goose are going to find the early misses. Only 50 combo behind. Really not going to be the end of the world. But already, we're a quarter away into the map. Bocce, man, that's going to be a more impactful miss. Down by about 200 combo. And it's going to let the score flip back over to the side of Sun momentarily here. Hyper Pigeon finds the next miss. Their first appearance in this match as well. The halfway through the map, Sun find themselves up by about 300k. That miss from Aleph is going to slow the bleeding, but Zanzibar trades it back immediately, which allows Sun to hold on to their lead. There goes Toybot, and a full team miss from BeachSideBunny. Multiple players failing on that pattern, and now Sun are up by 2 million. That's going to be nearly insurmountable, especially with Fedora Goose, Alpha U holding strong, looking to close out this F3 with very good accuracies as well on Alpha U especially, and it looks like we're going to be getting point number 3 on the board for Sun.
See if they hit the last pattern of this map.
Yep.
Oh my god, Alpha U hits it.
That's a very impressive score for Alpha U. Oh, actually, it's a 1 miss. I guess Alpha U missed at the very start.
At the very start. That is a absolute demon score. I mean, DT3, that is the map where we have 2 10-star patterns, and Alpha U hits them both and misses in the beginning. Casual Alpha U score, calm score, none to say the least. One more pick going to Sun. So it is going to be a 3-0 lead, consolidating on that break point, being up 3-0, very, very comfortable. And as a second pick player, or excuse me, team, BeachSideBunny needs to start winning now. You do not want to be down 4-0 and then be down 5-0 later on when it is Sun's pick. So winning this next map, very, very important because you need that momentum to be able to gravitate towards your side. Lots of maps to be picking. If you want to go for something, again, for that kind of gimmicky aspect. I mean, that gimmick map really came down to just a couple of combos, couple of breaks, and a couple of mishaps on the supporting combos. You could possibly go into Nomad 8. I wouldn't recommend it, but maybe you could prey on the most luck RNG stuff on the precision map that circle 9.5 size map has. But that is a very volatile map to go into.
I mean, I would love to see a Nomad 8 just because it would be fun to see these players make their attempt on CS 9.5. But they do need to consider this pick carefully because once again, right now, even though the score is 3-0, they're still only down 1 break point, which is not the end of the world. It's not as bad as it feels to be down by 3 at this stage. If they give up a second break point here, Sun are going to be up 4-0. They have the next pick to potentially put themselves up 5-0, and all of a sudden, BeachSideBunny find themselves in a whole heap of trouble. So this feels like a bit of a must-win for BeachSideBunny. Of course, if they lose this one, it's not technically over, but it's going to be very, very hard to come back from, as they are cutting it pretty close on this timer. They could potentially give up their pick if they don't get that in before the timer runs out. They are going to go for the Nomad 8, so they are going to be gambling, but I think this certainly feels very BeachSideBunny favored because of Bocce, man. Purely. Like, truly probably the best high CS precision player.
Possibly in the world and possibly in this tournament too. Yeah, normal 8. This does kind of ramp up in difficulty as the map goes on. The more circles you have to press, the more aim control actually is associated in this map. You do have cut streams, you do have doubles to cut into. And so this precision map isn't just aim. It does have tapping. It does have a little bit of tech in this. So it's not really bright days if you're a Sun, because this map still is requiring a little bit of your skill and not just luck-based precision.
And we do see Ref now using timers, so they've got 90 seconds to sort out their roster. Good to see those being enforced. And of course, if they don't get their roster in before the timer starts, they will just have to play with either the wrong roster or down. And yeah, that's gonna speed things up a little bit. They're gonna get all 4 players in the lobby in a hurry this time around, as we're actually just waiting for the. Actually, it's gonna be Sari, last player for Sun, as we just need her to switch over to the blue team.
Get on over there. I believe everyone's in. This is everybody.
This is indeed. So, pretty standard roster for Sun. Of course, they bring in their precision players in Tosin, Jordan, and Sari. BeachSideBunny, of course, the 2 players to watch, Bashiman and Razor Fruit. Bashiman especially, but they've really got a lot of very strong precision players on this team. And once we get the mods sorted out, then we will get into this incredibly short map. Every miss could make a difference. And on a map this short, the accuracy could actually matter as well.
Yeah, I believe the accuracy, especially, yeah, would I fully mention links this short. Accuracy does have a little bit of an aspect of this. These circles are so small that I can count the pixels in the circles, but it is a very short map. So already 2 breaks on both sides. Still the combo on a lot of the players on Sun, but BeachSideBunny keep raking, and Bashiman needs just a hole. He's the only one with the highest accuracy, and this is already going towards the side of Sun.
Yeah, look at Aleph though. Currently was up at 98, did drop. It's going to be 3-way miss. Bashiman drops though, and Alfeu had the highest combo in the lobby. There goes Alfeu now. It's Sun with this lead by about 300,000. That's a pretty decent margin on a map like this one. BeachSideBunny, they just don't have the recovery combo to bring this one back. Bashiman, the last one holding any combo, but Sari is matching. And it does not go the way of BeachSideBunny. It's just a better team performance from Sun. And in the end, Bashiman, not actually even top scoring. Alfeu and Aleph were right there to match. And so it is going to be 4-0 for Sun. And now I think BeachSideBunny, they're going to be in a lot of trouble, especially considering Sun has an X pick, looking to put this to a 5-0 difference. And it's so early in the match. The Hippo Cup pools are so big that it feels like the world is their oyster right now. They have so many potential picks left available. And they're certainly not going to be running out of picks anytime soon. They are going to go for DT2, this very short 222 BPM map. And so I think this is the first time in this match we're going to see a real dedicated tapping pick.
Yep. I mean, Sun, I believe they were kind of saving these kind of maps for the last 2 picks, potentially, if this were to be a sweep. But it is Zect back map. It is going to be that mechanics on Turi Panta Re. And this is a very, I believe this map kind of is default with the BPM, 222, not the highest in the pool. DT5 is the highest BPM in the pool, and that is not banned, so we possibly will see that later if we were going into the little bit the ulti style map. But right now we're focusing on the DT2. Right now we're going to be focusing on the OD10 map, the 10.2 AR map as well, so a little bit of high AR reading required for this DT2. You can already see the players for Sun already to be putting their foot down on this DT2 and already going up 5-0, as this map just mechanics, just streams, and especially on a link this long at 1 minute 30, just as short or a little bit longer than an OMA 8, we are going to see this map and you'll blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's a very clever pick from Sun. They've clearly done their research into BeachSideBunny, because if we look at their DT2 scores so far, which has been one of the go-to tapping picks throughout the tournament, they were 22nd best team score in the group stage DT2. And look at round of 16, they were last place, 8th out of 8 teams, only 12 million points, with Hyper Pigeon putting up a solid score, but Everybody else on the team really struggling. This time they do have Zanzibar, which should help things out a little bit, but BeachSideBunny have not looked good on the DT speed picks so far. They rely very heavily on Hyper Pigeon, and so we're going to have to see, one, if Hyper Pigeon can put up a crazy score here, but also whether there's any support from BeachSideBunny.
Let's see if the mechanics will shine for Sun here. But it is just very early combo. But now into the actual part of the map that really shows why this is getting picked. Streams, Hyper Pigeon finding the first miss. Only the combo to go down, but it is going to be a consistency part from here on out. Just missing on the streams where you shouldn't be. And that is going to be very safe combo for Sun as they are continuing to rise their lead just little by little. There's not a lot of accuracy all over the board for a lot of these players. Bashiman with the breaks, the streams are going to fall apart for him. And it is just Sun in the lead with Field Blows on a break. Alpha as well. So it is 2 FCs to 2. It's not out of the park for BeachSideBunny, but it is very possible for a Sun win here.
Yeah, the combos are getting really high now. Unfortunately, those are pretty low accuracy FCs, so they are going to be worth a fair bit less than the FCs on the side of Sun. But if we do see one of those drop off into the end, they do have the time to come back. It's another miss from Hyper Pigeon, not going to be helping things out. But can Sun hold on to these FCs? There goes Zanzibar. It's an FC from BeachSideBunny that drops instead. And with that, I don't think BeachSideBunny can make the comeback here. And although it was a better showing than we've seen from them on the previous DT2s, unfortunately, Sun put up an even better score. It's not enough, and they're going to be up 5-0 now.
And that is a calm FC on the bottom two players there, Fedora Groos and Alfiu. Great scores, great accuracy from Alfiu as well, 97.21% on the little bit of stamina map here. But BeachSideBunny, you're not down and out, but it is going to be an absolute cliff to climb for yourself to get back into the saddle and back and running against Sun's 5-0 lead. Not a lot of maps left for you to pick. Maybe you go into alt Nomad 3. That map is especially very difficult, especially in a mapping style as that Nomad 3. Nomad 6 available, Nomad 4 available. There's so many maps you can go into that just requires your raw skill and raw reading as a player from yourself. So those are not very RNG maps, but maps that you should consider if you need a little bit of easier time to go into this match right now.
It's very funny from Aleph. I will read that message out loud, but pretty incredible excuse for missing on a pick. One of the all-time excuses, truly. But I will say, Fedorgus and Alfiu have been incredibly strong all match long, so maybe you try and find a pick that Fedorgus and Alfiu would have a harder time on. They are very strong players overall, so not entirely sure what that would be, because it also needs to be a map that you yourself are strong on. And so as they wait for the pick, you're now down by 2 break points. They've resorted to rolling for the pick, it seems. It is a 2, which means we're getting Nomad 6. And this Nomad 6 is going to be the Audacity. This is not a map I've seen so far. Seems like more of a rhythmic in-control type map.
Yeah, I mean, you could... That is basically what it is. Aim control, rhythmic map. Very, I'd say, techy in terms of the aim control for the flow. But this is really fun to hit a lot of these patterns if you're able to hit them. It's very flowy. 9.7 AR to cater to that kind of very fast aim control-y flow. And so Nomad 6 is going to be one of the more standard tournament core maps that we have in this pool. We did play a lot of tournament core maps in the pool, but Nomad 6, finally we are touching the Nomad pool again with Nomad 6 as the role for Bashiman on 2. Possibly they were picking between Nomad 3 and Nomad 6, maybe, because both of these maps very ulty, very flowy in their sort of ways.
Yep, certainly could be. And it looks like we've got all players in the lobby. We just need Sari and Razorfruit to switch spots. Looks like Insert is going to be back in for Sun. And the first appearance for Lightning Fox on the side of Sun. A bit more of an up-and-coming tournament player who's been who's had some good performances in recent tournaments.
Yeah, let's see it. The good luck half funds are coming out. Hopefully we get the map started instantly, and that is Lightning Fox not refusing to play the map right now. A little bit of a banter reset on the client, but yeah, that guy does not want to play the Audacity. Polyphia, we love Polyphia. We love Polyphia Ninosu.
We do, and I think some of these more rhythmic aim control maps can definitely have some added difficulty on the hidden, so this is one of those maps where the hidden mods might be a little bit more relevant as opposed to certain other picks in the pool, so we'll have to keep an eye on our hidden players. So far, it's the no mod players who are struggling a little bit more. Voine and Lightning Fox both finding early misses. There goes Bashiman, as does Insert, and so it is just going to be 1 FC to 2 on the side of BeachSideBunny early on. This map is long enough they should have time to rebuild these combos. There goes Fedora Deuce as well. That's no FCs left on the side of Sud, and looking like a good pick for BeachSideBunny as Razorfute and Ronipan, who looks very good on this hidden, continue to hold. It's further misses from Sun, this time on Sari, and so while they've got a couple of recoveries, it's not going to be enough to bring this one back. There goes Razorfruit and Ronipan. BeachSideBunny dropping both of their FCs, and now it's a bit of a 2v2 going on Sun with the better support. Insert and Voine going to trade. That is going to be relatively even, and now it's Lightning Fox versus Bashiman. If Bashiman misses, Sun definitely have time to bring this one back. It's only 1 million points, which is almost nothing on score V1, but he's hit this pattern. They both do so. Sari and Fedora Goose now back up to 300 combo. It's slowly going back over to Sun, but that miss from Insert is going to slow the comeback just a little bit.
To the difficulty spike, and that is an Insert break, but still a lot of combo on the side of Sun. Lightning Fox in a trade with Bashiman, and there is still more supporting combo on the side of BeachSideBunny. That lead flickering right and left, but Fedora Goose, that's a huge combo. Razorfruit to trade that, and Sari versus Ronipan. Lightning Fox needs to stop missing. Insert's trying to grab another supporting combo, but Sari with a drop, and that is BeachSideBunny with combos all over their board right now. Ronipan holding when you need it to most. They needed a hero. They needed to get themselves on the board, and is Ronipan and Voone to try and grab this point back. And as that score lead just goes towards the side and keeps increasing, no combo on the side of Sun. Voone breaks, but that does not matter. Ronipan for the win, for the absolute comeback that was on the Audacity.
Yeah, that was such a clutch score from Ronipan, showing up when it matters most, backs against the wall, and BeachSideBunny not going to be getting swept today. Now, they still have a lot of work to do. They still need to get 2 break points at some point in this match, but at the very least, they've gotten off the starting line, they've got the ball rolling, and maybe, just maybe, this can be the start of their comeback. And Lightning Fox, not too happy about this one, but Sun, they're prepared. They're going to go very quickly for a DT5, back into a slightly more gimmicky DT pick, I would say, which tends to be good for them. This is switched on Lotus Kirby Mix Deluxe, which is a very well-known map by most players, I would imagine. It's a classic, really. PS5 as well for a little bit of added difficulty.
It's another short map? Not really. 2 minutes 31 seconds.
Yeah, it's a decent length compared to a lot of the 50-second maps in the pool, but it's not so long that you have a ton of time to build up your combo.
And it's the Kirby Mix Deluxe, the Kirby Mix Special map. You have those grid style patterns. You can have those very, very symmetrical patterns as well. So lots of geometry being seen on your screen for this DT5. Let's see, the Good Luck's having fun, I believe, as all players are set and ready. Sun picking this makes sense. We're going to pick into that 345 BPM alt map. I'd say it does not have 345 BPM streams. I am sorry to tell you, but that would be a little bit impossible for some of these people.
Yeah, as good as 2 players have gotten, we've not quite reached the point of playing 345 BPM speed maps. Give it another half a year, and maybe we'll get there at this rate. But here we go. into this DT5. Sun looking to put themselves on match point and get ever closer to surviving this tournament. Remember, this is a loser's bracket match. Despite how good both of these teams are on paper, they both find themselves in the loser's bracket after some tough round of 16 matches. And so the loser of this one will be eliminated from Hippo Cup, as we've got a lot of early misses on both sides. BeachSideBunny are going to come out on top just barely. Sari is there with a solid recovery, and so it's Man, the last FC remaining. I think Sari missed at the very start or has just dropped a ton of slider ends.
And slider ends, especially for Score V1, are very important as a Sari break. So 2 FCs to null on the side of BeachSideBunny, and look at that. The ult map that is the DT5 is working in the side of BeachSideBunny, and Sun just struggling to find any more combo. There's a break on Roni Pants, so that FC's gone, but Man holding that hidden FC well in place. The flow is correct. The flow is immaculate. His tapping is beautiful as he is still on the FC. Still the highest combo in the lobby. More combo than Sun combined as that combo just continues to fly in that lead, doubling the ones of Sun.
Yeah, this map is insanely hard. Like, this score from Man is absolutely ridiculous. There is still half the map to go, but this map is truly as good as over. As, I mean, look at the smoke from all the players. They know this is probably the best score that we've seen in this match. Possibly one of the best scores of the weekend. I mean, probably the best score of the weekend so far, if he can pull off an FC on this one. And now it's all eyes on Man to see how far he can pull this combo.
It's just the flow. I mean, this guy is probably one of the best gimmick players of all time. And especially in a skill department such as flow, this guy, it does not disappoint. And there's all eyes on him as everyone breaks around him. He's the only one to stand. A dominant, audastic performance from Man.
Can Bashi hit the envy? No, that is the question. Hardest part still yet to come. Looking good so far, up to 950 combo. And this is already an incredible score. Just needs to close it out into these really brutal sliders. Bashi finally finds the miss, but what an incredible score. Is easily 1v4ing Sun, and that's going to be a second point on the board. Fedora Goose might need to put down the KFC because BeachSideBunny are not out of it yet.
Oh, goodbye.
I mean, honestly, not even needed. Everybody else could leave the lobby right now, and they'd still be perfectly fine as long as Man is there.
That was a 1v4. That was a crazy score. I believe he did hit the ending pattern with those diagonal streams, but missing on just a couple of notes there. Unfortunately, misses the FC, which could have been the best score of our quarterfinals session, but
and it might still be. We haven't had that many matches so far in quarterfinals.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. But it is a break point. None to say the least.
Yep. And that's that quarterfinals carry potential. I think the first 1v4 of this match. I don't think the first 1v4 of the weekend. I believe we saw one in the previous match I was commentating as well, which was... what was it? Dog Breaking versus Grease Monkey. But this is where the comeback begins. They've got one breakpoint back. Of course, they need to find another breakpoint still. But if they can continue to win their own picks, then they could very well start to bring this match back.
Still have yet to go dabble a little bit into that free mod pool. So available maps there: Free Mod 1, Free Mod 2, Free Mod 4, as Free Mod 3 is banned. And Free Mod 1, we pray to see, because the Queen Bee map is an absolute joy to watch. But this is going to be one of the easier maps in the pool. No Mod 4. Going to be a very ulti-tech map here in this one. You're going to have some slider ends to follow through, a little bit of swing, some triples that have an L pattern, and nonetheless a very, very fun map. But it is the easiest, so especially on rosters that have been competing at high levels the entire time, this map should be a landslide for some of these players.
Yep. And we welcome all of our new viewers from the Hippo Cup A stream.
Hello.
As for those of you on the B stream, Quit School has just beaten the Nation 7-2, which means the Nation unfortunately have been eliminated from Hippo Cup. With Quit School moving on, they will next face the loser between New Zealand and Catball, two incredibly strong teams. But back to our own match here. We're just waiting for that last player from BeachSideBunny. Toybot and Lightning Fox, two players who we haven't seen that often for Sun, are going to be making an appearance. It looks like Fedora Goose has put down the KFC and locked in after those two map wins from BeachSideBunny.
Yeah, I mean, this map had Sun going up, I believe, 5-0. Was it right? Yeah, 5-0, and now they are up 5-2 now with a downside of BeachSideBunny. Next pick is theirs, and they proceeded to pick into that Noma 4, which is a very, very techie map. Or not very techie, but you have the ult in this map. You do have the slider ends that you do the aim. Very fast velocity on those ones. Some L patterns to aim. A little bit of aim control for the ult patterns, but nonetheless, very fun map. I would suggest people taking a look at this map to be able to play, and it is a absolute joy as well. Very good song, very good mapper, and very good players to watch on our Noma 4 as we arrive to our 8th map of the set.
Yep, and I mean, it is indeed 4 a.m. For a lot of the players on BeachSideBunny, but that's kind of how it goes when you get a half American team and a half South Korean team. One of those time zones is often going to have to play at a pretty brutal time. And so it is what it is as we get into this Nomad 4 Sun. Still looking for that match point. This is going to be their 3rd attempt at putting themselves on match point. BeachSideBunny have been on a little bit of a recovery attempt since for the last 2 maps, and it's a pretty slow start to the map, but should pick up somewhat shortly as we get into this next Kiaya section. Really only the early misses from Boshi and Lightning Fox. There goes Boshi Man once again along with Bowen. Looks like Fedora is trying to miss the start, but Razorfoot as well now. BeachSideBunny dropping 3 combos on that section. Meanwhile, the combos on Sun have recovered along with those 2 FCs on AlphaU and Toybot. So Sun really going to start to pull away now. The score lead up to about 700,000, which is not a massive margin, but it's certainly a nice buffer for them going to the rest of the map. That's going to claim Lightning Fox and Ronipan, but Ronipan was the last FC for BeachSideBunny, so that trade will certainly favor Sun as they continue to run away with this one now, up to almost 2 million points, and that score lead will continue to increase. Oh, it was a Boncho miss for Ronipan, so
never mind.
A little bit less to worry about for BeachSideBunny, but they are still falling further behind, but good recoveries across the board.
Combos feel like the same. Sun just a little bit ahead in the combo game, as well as the accuracy game as well. Not a lot of misses compared to BeachSideBunny, but that is how it rolls in a score v1 matchup like this. Accuracies are high. Slider act doesn't matter. No breaks, but it is just the dwindling, lingering question. Are we going to see any misses in the back and forths in this map? But that is going to be a slider break on Bowen. And Razorfoot falling not behind on the break as well, as BeachSideBunny only has 2 players to fall upon. Boshi Man and Ronipan, and Sun as a army of 4 players continue to hold their combo. Boshi Man falls, Ronipan to contest against the 2 FCs, the 2 Titans of Sun, AlphaU, and Toybot. Lightning Fox with the supporting combo. Fedora Goose misses that, but the bus slider grabs every single player except Lightning Fox. And that is why you look at the maps, but unfortunately that buzz slider, it will not matter on any of the breaks. Sun up 6 million in team score, and this map shortly closing as Sun reaches their match point. Lightning Fox with a combo at the end, and it is just dominance from them.
Yeah, 3rd time's the charm on this match point. Lightning Fox getting the redemption as well. Just a very strong team score overall. You know, you had no players on that team under 4 million, and on the other side, it was only Ronipan above 4 million. So really just strong scores across the board. And it looks like Sun, they've got the next pick, and they're going to very quickly go for Nomad 1 to try and close this one out.
Oh, we're going into Noma 1. We're going to a more mechanics heavy map on the Tenohiro Hira de Odoru. Hopefully, I did not butcher that pronunciation, but this is a very popular map. I know a lot of people know this map. I know a lot of you viewers know this map. Very popular, ranked in 2019, mapped by Smokeman. It is going to be that high CS map at 2.8. Lots of mechanics, lots of flow, lots of mechanics as well at 215 BPM. And so that's going to be the kind of name of the game. It is going to be consistent as well, as you have so many patterns that you could just miss on. You unfocus for one bit and you will miss on any pattern that comes your way on this Noma 1.
Yeah, I'm with Sorry, to be honest. Where is
where's
free mod 1? We need it. Like we need Sun to throw this pick so that BeachSideBunny can pick free mod 1, and we get to see, here we go, Queen Bee.
I will not pass my KFC. Speaking of KFC, sounds like a plan for lunch tonight. I mean, today.
There you go. I've got shawarma poutine for lunch. Canadian classic.
That is a Canadian classic. There's like tons of food places where I live, so if we can get a burger, we can get poutine, we can get whatever we want.
You can get a KFC even.
You can go to KFC.
If you want to be like Fedora Goose.
I want to be like Fedora Goose. See, the
question is, does Fedora Goose eat the KFC mid-map? And if so, what's the best KFC choice? What's the best selection? These are the important questions.
Do you like dark meat or light meat?
I mean, that's what we got to know. Is Fedora Goose going for the dark or the light? These are the real questions that need to be answered before this tournament is over.
We should tell one guy to make it to first place gets a free bucket of
KFC.
Everyone
that would
gets
be
6 pieces.
Pretty incredible. Everybody, no, I'm not gonna say that. I don't want 2NG to get spammed with KFC things.
KFC.
Anyways, into potentially the last map here, BeachSideBunny, looking to hold on, but it is Sun's pick, so it is an uphill mountain for them. They've already found 3 misses. Zanzibar, the only one holding that full combo. Meanwhile, we've got 3 FCs left over on the side of Sun. Aleph on a pretty good recovery. There goes Fedora Goose as well. Fingers were too greasy, unfortunately. That's just how it goes, but has Toybot and Alfie there. Still holding those FCs and looking good. Sun already off to a strong start. This early in the map, 1 million point lead is pretty big, but because BeachSideBunny have recovered, as I say that, Razorfruit does find the miss. They're still in this one. Okay, now they're a lot less in this one as Botchyman follows it up with a miss as well. And it is Zanzibar against the world right now. Oh, I need to stop speaking, so there goes Zanzibar as well. Ronipan, the only one with any comms whatsoever, and Sun, they're holding pretty strong. Oh, there goes Ronipan as well.
Goodbye.
It's all over.
It's all over. The KFC was too much.
It was. I mean, it's not over. There's half the map to go, but like Sun have double the score of BeachSideBunny, and unfortunately, this is looking to be where Hippo Cup ends for BeachSideBunny. I mean, there are a lot of misses, but again, it's Fedora Goose with the highest combo by a decent margin. Sun still has double the combo, and it's a full team race that for BeachSideBunny. It's just not happening.
Not happening at all. 8 million team score to overcome, and especially with no combo on your side. BeachSideBunny stares down the barrel of a gun that will be shot at their heads soon as this map is over, as Sun continues to have just so much better team scores than BeachSideBunny. And this map especially, it is hard. This map does not pull any punches anywhere, as this mechanically heavy consistency map is just as difficult as some of these maps in the pool. But that is going to be the match as Sun continues to show off their dominance. To see if any cool scores come out from this play here. And Alf with a good accuracy, I believe, 98%, but that's not going to be enough for BeachSideBunny to lose, as no combos are just dropping. I mean, Sun, look at this. 10 million team score, there is nothing you can do. And Sun will be moving on to the semifinals losers bracket, where they'll be facing off, I believe. Let's see if the challenge is updated.
Yep, and TONG is in the chat, so we can begin our petition to get a KFC bucket added to the prize pool while we're here. And that is going to do it for our match. Shun takes this one 7-2. They will be moving on. Commiserations to BeachSideBunny, as they will be the third team eliminated from Hippo Cup in the bracket stage. And let's see, BeachSideBunny, or Sun, sorry, will go on to play Pipotam in the next matchup. That should be a pretty good one.
Yeah, I mean, great match, great scores overall. There was a believable hope. There was a glimpse of light for BeachSideBunny, but unfortunately, Sun does what they do and moves on to the semifinals. 3 more matches to be played in our quarterfinals week. We have 2 in the winners bracket, 1 happening tonight for NA players, especially on that match. A lot of potential great matches going on. We have New Zealand, Catball, Sunday, 3 UTC, as well as 14 UTC and 1930 UTC as well for another winners bracket match against Z10A, D-Rank Tax versus the Irishman 5, and the losers bracket match, Mattilla's Balls Ball and Hippo Cup GIF. I believe that's everything we have to cover. Can I get KFC, TOG?
It certainly is. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Thank you to Exia for joining me. I've been iFlame. Thank you to our ref, Bakura, as well, and Dio for streaming today. Hope to see you guys all back here for 3 UTC for an incredibly exciting match between 2 of potentially the strongest teams in the tournament. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you later.
Goodbye.